Okay, my name is Danielle Heinert, and I am a consultant that specializes in helping organizations implement total quality management organizational theory. What I'm going to talk to you today about is the purpose of exercising control in your organization. And then we're also going to dive into the details of total quality management organizational theory. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how you can go about implementing it into your organization. Okay, well, first we'll just start off by talking a little bit about why it's even important to exercise some sort of organizational control. Keffler, who writes articles on auditing and engineering management, discusses having control in organizations as necessary to ensure organizations are really doing what they're designed to do. It's important to have frequent checks, according to him, such as audits, to ensure that everything is operating correctly and efficiently. Obviously, you want to make sure that your business is doing what you started it to do. I mean, that's really the purpose of exercising some sort of organizational control so that you have control and power over what your organization is doing. Shargel writes in the Total Quality Management publication journal that basically, the purpose of organizational control, it's a way to make sure organizations make the best use of its resources and realize the greatest human potential. Now, I really like that because I think it has a really big picture way of kind of just saying, the reason why you even have a business or you start something is because you're wanting to fulfill your potential, right? So, you exercise control because you want the business to fulfill its potential. And then Lawson, who is also an author for the Total Quality Management Journal, discusses many reasons for implementing quality control management. It gives managers and employees common ways to prevent issues before they arise, prevents production of poor quality goods and services, provides customers what they want, which is obviously really important if you want to stay in business, and allows organizations to do things right the first time, which, in essence, saves money. So really, I mean, the point of it from those 4 points to me really states that it's all about being proactive as opposed to reactive. Successful businesses are proactive. They don't mess up and then, scramble and have to figure out how to correct it. They want to prevent a mess up from happening in the first place. And we're going to talk about how total quality management is really a great theory to implement and way of really exercising good control in your organization that will be efficient and successful. All right, so just some basics about total quality management, also known as TQM. American management consultants Deming and Jerome actually created it in post-war Japan after the economy had been destroyed. So during that time frame, it was really important to figure out, what are we going to use to kind of turn things around here. It's a decentralized approach based on the idea of building quality into products as opposed to having to only rely on inspection to get rid of poor quality goods. In fact, again, being proactive. It involves teamwork. That's huge for it. It's all about involving everyone in the organization. There's planning, control, and improvement as well. It's customer focused. It's very much all about how do we and having this organization work for us, the employees, but have it work for both us and the customers. And sometimes I think businesses can get a little off track with that, and sometimes they can do things that really seem to only benefit them and not the customer, and that's, a surefire way to not do well as an organization. So TQM wants to prevent that. TQM is a philosophy for continual ongoing improvement, or Kaizen, which is a range of practices including customer orientation, total quality control, quality circles, stock control, cooperative labor management relations, and the notion of making products with zero defects. And includes basically what was listed there, but that would be like quality circles, benchmarking, Six Sigma, quality partnering, and continuous improvement. Those are all aspects of it. And we're going to dive into a few of those here in the next few slides. All right, so quality circles. Basically, it's a team of people who meet frequently, maybe once a week, to discuss and resolve issues in relation to their work so that decisions can be made by the people who are actually doing the work. So basically, on the ground floor instead of somebody, far removed in, you know, corporate telling everybody, hey, I think you should do this. It involves the people who actually do the work to really kind of figure out what's going to be the best way to approach issues. So the nice thing about it is it does really help to foster teamwork, communication, and trust, improves work methods, and it clarifies important things like job responsibilities, ways to measure product performance standards, organization structure, and methods. I actually have been on a team of people before at a place that I used to work at, and it was really great because it gave me the opportunity to be in a team of people who were outside of my function. So I got a chance to really learn about what they did, how what I did affects what they did. It really kind of put things into perspective for me. So I can speak from personal experience that, this really is a good thing and can really be helpful for patients to implement. And it is a big part of TQM. All right, so the next thing here is benchmarking, another major aspect of TQM. Basically comparing a business's performance with the performance of other similar businesses. In order to be competitive, you got to know what your competitors are doing out there and what's working, what's not working. So basically, you choose parts of performance that are meaningful to measure, and then you carefully evaluate data obtained about other businesses before using it. You want to make sure that it's accurate data, not everything out there is accurate. So when you do this, you do want to make sure that you're careful about that. If there is no data available, there are options. You can still benchmark. You can use internal reference groups like subpopulations and historical performance. For example, where I work right now, we don't use a lot of data about other schools out there and other admissions teams out there. So what we do is we look a lot at our different prospecting efforts. Like, if I email students, I work in admissions. If I email students and, I email a bunch of students and I get a lot of responses and they end up enrolling, then, I know that that's a good prospecting effort as opposed to maybe calling them, 3 times a day. So, it's just kind of comparing the different prospecting efforts that we have and seeing what works best. And then we also look at, past things that we've done, past efforts that we've made, looking at yields from the past few years and kind of comparing and contrasting there. So that's another way that we also benchmark. Okay, Lean Six Sigma. Now, this is a huge topic that we could probably go on and on about. I'm just going to kind of talk about it very briefly here. It's a philosophy and a set of management techniques focused on continuous eliminating so that every process, task, work action is made value-adding as viewed from the customer. Again, very customer oriented. Mapping involves clarifying the customer base, listing the process steps, identifying value add steps, and reworking the process so the workflow is without interruption. This obviously really ties into TQM. It's all about eliminating that waste and being as efficient as possible with resources. Time is a resource. Just everything and really customer focused. Okay, zero-based budgeting. I feel from my research that this is a really good way to exercise budgeting control in TQM because I think it really aligns well with the TQM philosophy of, being very quality focused and wanting to reduce costs, eliminate waste. So basically, zero-based budgeting starts zero. So everything that you put into your budget has to have complete justification in order to even be included. In its essence, it really does require you to really dig in and say, all right, is this something that we really need? Just really assessing everything that you would normally put into your budget. That maybe year over year people just do without thinking about it. Well, zero-based budgeting makes you think about it, makes you assess it, look at data and really analyze it, which all falls in line with TQM. That's the gist of it, and I think that it really fits well with TQM. All right, talk a little bit about best practice and going about implementing TQM into your organization. Now, it's going to be really important that your first phase is that your leadership team is 100% committed. You have to be 100% committed and understand how it works to really get the rest of your people on board. And then, the team's going to need to figure out how their organization is going to use it. There's no one size fits all, so you really have to figure out, what you want to accomplish with it, what barriers you're going to come up against, kind of have a game plan in that sense. Each leader on that leadership team needs to really figure out what their role is and how they're going to hold themselves accountable and follow through, and kind of hold each other accountable too. And then on top of that, they need to figure out, the logistics of, what data they're going to use, what the teams are really going to do, how they're going to come to decisions on the teams, how they're going to reward them for participating and doing this and coming up with ideas and solutions. So yeah, just all of that stuff needs to be hashed out before you start bringing in other people in your organization. After you've done that, you do want to choose some key people to bring on in to help you kind of roll it out. The leadership team wants to identify some people who are very good at teamwork. That's key. People have to be huge team players, and they have to advocate for that. And that's not something that everyone can do, so you want to be good at that can teach others how to as well. People that can interpret data, think critically, and be open at other people's ideas, which someone who's a good team player knows how to do that. Those key staff people are going to help you kind of figure out how to get it going and get people's buy-in. Right. Phase 3, you want to kick it off. You really want to tie in how TQM is going to work and how what they're doing now, working. So you need to make that clear to the people that your staff, the people of your organization, basically. And you need to really tie it into the mission and what you're all there to do. The big picture is really key. And TQM is all about the big picture. It's all about, like I said previously, fulfilling that potential. Implementing. Once you kick it off, you kind of get some people excited about it, you got energy up, you're going to want to get teams started. Now, you can do the approach of letting them kind of get started on their own when they're ready, or you can mandate that they get started and tell them specifically what to get started on. Both have their downsides and their benefits, and you kind of got to weigh what's going to be best for your specific organization. Regardless, you want to make sure your staff knows that this is the method that your organization will be using moving forward, regardless. So they do need to participate. If people don't participate, and that's life, right? Be primarily on the people that are and try to replicate what they're doing and help other people replicate what they're doing, as opposed to spending all your time trying to get people who haven't bought in, because eventually they will, but focus your time on the people that are already on board and are doing the work. Phase five, continually develop the staff. This is huge. So once you kick it off, once it's going, you want to continue to help them improve their ways of doing it. A really good way is to have them go out and shadow other organizations that are using it successfully. What are they doing? What aren't they doing? Best practice there. You do want to set up some sort of reward system. I mean, you want to reward teams that are doing things and coming up with solutions. Encourage them to keep doing that. That's a good incentive. And as a leadership team, you just got to model that team environment yourselves and really kind of practice what you preach. That's going to be, one of people to buy in and continue to do it and be, excited to do it. Another phase is to review and refocus. You always want to evaluate how you're doing. I mean, that's goes hand in hand with TQM. That's what TQM is. Constantly reevaluating, constantly, continually developing, growing. That's huge, and that's a huge phase of it that you don't want to forget. You got to keep people focused, invigorated to keep doing the good work that they're doing. So yeah. Basically, that is the phases of kind of getting it started, and that is the end of our presentation. And I appreciate your time, and I really hope that TQM works for your organization.